Welcome back to another episode of Rep and Repeat Podcast. I am your host, Tommaso Abbattiscianni, and this is my lovely co-host,
Mattice.
And we are back with another episode, episode 9. Wow, it's kind of going relatively fast, but kind of slow at the same time. But I guess we do these once a week, that's why. So it's been nine fucking weeks.
Yeah, 9 weeks, dude.
That's crazy.
Somebody said something the other day that was pretty cool. It was, the days are long, but the years are short.
Interesting, yeah.
It's how it flies, you know?
Flies by.
You feel like you're at work and it's like, holy shit, it's taking forever, but then it's like, that week is done.
Yeah, which is crazy.
You know, so it's kind of good to be able to get this started 9 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Good job, bud.
We've been doing it.
Good job. And I appreciate everybody's support. Honestly, that's the biggest thing. You know, we got a bunch of questions in this week too, which was really nice. It's been a good week.
Yeah, I mean, for us to be 9 episodes in, we also do plan on doing 2 episodes per week.
Yeah. After
my show. Once I have more energy throughout the day and stuff like that, we plan on doing one here directly in the studio and one at home, where we will be featuring guests and other people. So if you guys have any recommendations on who you would love to see on our podcast, fitness coaches, mindset coaches, lifestyle coaches, like all that stuff, we already have ideas of who we want on for our future episodes, and Tom and I have been going through those, and we were going to continue to be going through that list together. But if you guys have any recommendations, feel free, tag them in our stuff, and we're open to any suggestions. So today's episode topic of discussion was we're going to do a Q&A of some questions that we got in last week, but we also want to touch up on trusting your fitness coach, trusting your personal trainer, trusting just somebody that you give the go ahead to for coaching you in terms of your fitness, your diet, your training, stuff like that.
So where did you actually come up with that?
So actually one of my clients, shout out to April, she's the one that gave us this topic idea for today.
Nice.
And because she felt that she was always struggling with issues with trainers in the past, and her not being able to trust the trainer, especially when it comes to knowing that she has injuries and the trainer just training her the way that he thinks that she should be trained and not making her feel comfortable with certain exercises and stuff like that. So, I mean, this could go for in-person training, online training. Trusting the trainer is a really important thing, because when you hire a coach or when you hire a personal trainer, as the person who's if you're the client and you want to hire a coach, you got to give your 110% trust into that coach. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, I think a lot of people don't do that, and they hire somebody and then they immediately don't trust the person. Yeah. Which is faulty on their part.
Yeah.
You got to be able to, and it takes time to build that relationship with the coach as well.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. You're not going to just have amazing results with a new coach the first month. It just, you may drop weight, right? Like lower some inflammation, stuff like that. But there's a lot that goes into it. There really is, and we're going to touch up on those little things today.
Yeah, so I think there's a good one to start off is as a client, what should you look into as if you're going to a gym and you're looking for a personal trainer. Not so much as an online coach, but more of a personal trainer. I'm a firm believer, I've walked into a lot of gyms and the trainer's out of shape.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
immediate red flag.
Immediate, because I eat like a fucking fat kid, and I know how to mitigate certain things. So it's even if you're at that point, you should have the knowledge base to know how to really kind of manipulate your nutrition, your training, to have somewhat of a structure.
Correct.
I've seen a lot of just overweight trainers, and I'm not saying listen, at a certain age, once you pass your 50s, you kind of just what's the point? Not what's the point, but life hits, right. And it's kind of you've already done it maybe when you were younger. So I really don't try to judge people that are over in a certain age group, because I get it, But if I started seeing a young trainer and they're out of shape, what's going on? Did you get injured? I want to kind of know that. So usually your first, most gyms will give you a first initial training session. Try that. Ask them, realistically, it's going to sound like a dick move, but hey, why are you out of shape?
Right. Listen, I totally agree with you. It's not a dick move, right? I mean, maybe they don't have to ask that directly, but it's something that they could internalize and be like, why am I working with this trainer that is out of shape? And, right, what's his, like, just maybe pick his brain and see where his mind is and see what phase of life he's in.
Completely.
But at the end of the day, even if you're 50 years old, and you're training people, you may have the knowledge, but you still should represent a better body.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you
Absolutely.
really, like, do whatever the fuck it takes, like, to just get lean or something, have some muscle definition, have some muscle tone to you, something,
some
right?
structure.
Some structure. I don't want to see my trainer, like, just
remember, you're interviewing
sloppy.
them. Like,
Correct,
that's what you gotta look at. You're interviewing them.
Yes, when you're hiring the trainer, you're interviewing them.
Yep.
And I think that these are questions that we should be asking a coach when we first want to start working with them. With Tom and I already knew where his mindset was, and I already knew the people that he coached and stuff like that, so it was pretty easy for me to make the decision. But if you're new to training and you're new to getting to the gym, you want to pick the right trainer that has the knowledge on nutrition, training, right? And doesn't overcomplicate things, because I think that's where a lot of things go left.
Yeah.
Is when trainers are overcomplicating methods and methodologies and science and this and that. Guys, the basics work the best, right? So once we can establish the basics, make sure that your trainer knows the basics, okay? Because a lot of them don't know the basics and they just jump into the sciencey stuff, and it shows in their physique and it shows in their knowledge.
Yeah, they start doing some of these Instagram-y shit. Oh, well, we're gonna sit sideways on this machine that's made to be actually this way. Cut it. Cut the shit right away. If you're looking for a real trainer that's going to actually put that effort into you, like, stick to the basics and perfect the basics. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, what are we doing here? So, again, going back, I think that every trainer should have some kind of structure, unless they've been through an injury and, like, they're coming back to it, or some medical issue. I usually have that little leeway there, because you don't know what life really holds. So if you're going to go into a gym looking for a trainer, really ask them, like, so why are you at your level? Like, what's going on? It may seem almost dickish, but it's not, because you want to know why. Maybe they can say, hey, listen, like, I have a thyroid problem. Okay, then now I can see where their training is. Now, as soon as they bring out their cell phone, done.
Yeah.
Done. Like, if you're not, I'm not sitting here saying that I gotta be watching you every rep, on a leg extension. But if we're squatting, if we're benching, if we're doing
serious lifts,
if they bring out their fucking
the trainer
phone,
should have 110% attention on you.
Done.
And if they don't, then that's a failing.
That's a red flag right away.
There's some times where I might be getting my phone blown up in a training session, and I'll wait till the person is done with their set and to see what's going on. Right. To see what's going on. And I'm only responding to important messages, right? It's not things that
no, you got an hour session, you got a 30-minute session. Like, listen, unless it's something really urgent, then you just, hey, I gotta go take this.
Right.
But again, if you start seeing that cell phone come out more than once, I mean, not even more than once, but if you see, like, if it's during a rest,
right,
then I get it. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to talk about.
I see in some gyms, some trainers will have their clients work on their working sets, and they're sitting there on their phone. That's what blows my mind.
Why?
Like, on a rest time, it's whatever. If you pull it out, whatever, it's understandable. I'm not going to be so picky on that, right? But also, you should be 100%, as a trainer, you should be 110% engaged in the client's training.
Completely.
Because that's what they're paying you for.
Yeah.
Right? So now, I have a question for you. What is your approach on training people with injuries? How do you make them trust you? How do you make them feel like you can guide them through these?
So obviously having my issues, I've had a lot of people that, I always say, I get the bag of misfit children.
Yeah.
People that have elements, and because again, I can really manipulate around, but I also can call, a spade, say you're bullshitting me right now. So what I usually try to do is I see where we're at, and I talk to them. I have that conversation, like, where are your limitations? Where do you feel like your limitations are? And if I just start to feel like this is moments like, let's go into a certain movement.
Yeah.
And I just start to see, maybe it isn't so much as the injury, but it's the boundary you put down on yourself.
See, that's a great point that you're bringing up. So I was going to bring that up, so continue.
Because, like, realistically, what happens a lot of times is kind of like, you stub your toe, you start limping, but it's like, why are you limping when realistically your legs work normally?
You're fine.
You're fine.
You're fine.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people have these things. Like, I'll give you an example. Knee pain. It's a pretty common issue, right?
Yes.
Knee pain. I've had knee pain years ago.
Yeah.
And this is before I developed my legs to where they are now. And I knew deep down inside, there was no reason for me to have actual knee pain.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that it was undertrained. And I think that that's a big common misconception, is that these people have these pains and these nagging injury type feelings, like little pinches, that they think are going to limit them from progressing in an exercise or a workout program. And I think you as a client and as a trainer, the trainer should know, is this a nagging little pain that we could fight through and overcome, or is this a real injury? Yeah. Right? And I think getting the background of the person obviously is important as well.
Completely
like
agree.
You said.
And you're building that trust at that point, because again, like you said, it's like, sometimes you have to see it to believe it as well. As a coach, I want to see, okay, if you're having problems squatting, okay, then we're going to go do an exercise where we're putting no weight.
Right.
And I just want to see you hold on to something and see how you squat and give me the feedback. Okay, it hurts here. Okay, if it hurts and we're not having any weight bearing, okay, now we have an issue.
Correct.
Okay,
right.
But if I see you're able to do the movement, then I can, in my head, start to say, okay, progressive overload here.
Right.
Or it's like, my abs are hurting, like this side's hurting on me. Okay, well, it's not necessarily your legs or your hips, it's more of maybe stability in your ab core, where now we have to do more planks to get to that level.
Exactly.
You know?
And a lot of people, when they're coming to a trainer like us, they're under-muscled. And they're underdeveloped all around, and they usually have posture issues. So what I do usually when I check their initial assessment, when I'm just working with them for the first time, is I won't say anything to them, but these are the things that are going on in my brain. So I'm looking at their posture, I'm looking at the way that they're standing, right? I'm looking at their midsection. Are they holding a lot of fat in that area? Because maybe that's the reason why they may have low back pain, because they're leaning forward, or their posture, right? So now that shows me that we need to work on their lower back, maybe some hyperextensions if they can't do other type of exercises, like deadlifts or something like that. Hyperextensions are a great start, and then building a core, right? Building the whole core, not just the abs, right? And not just the, like the planks, the TVA, you're training the transverse abdominis, which is underneath the abdomen. So those are all critical tools to think of when you're training somebody that has these issues, right? And then then again, like going back to your point, with squatting with no weight and they're having pain. I have pain sometimes with no weight on a machine. Yeah. When I add the weight, the pain goes away. I don't know the logic behind that, but have you ever experienced something like that?
Yeah, perfect example. Today I'm doing leg day. Leg day. When I go on leg extensions, the first 2 sets are usually painful in my knee. Not painful, but like, there's an ache. Yeah, there's an ache.
And
but then it's gone. But I also think it's because you're pushing blood through it. Yeah. I think it's because you're getting that muscle moving. Correct. Because I do have that. Or for a perfect example, in my elbow yesterday, I got 135. I'm like, ooh, that hurts. Yeah. But then I was like, let me go 225, and I'm like, it still kind of hurts a little bit. Then 315, and I was like, oh, the pain's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Because now you got the blood flow around the joints, and the lubrication is happening. All these things start to happen, right? So I think also I'll give like a little breakdown of what I usually do for most of my clients in person. When I take them through a workout, most of the time, on each exercise that we're starting fresh again, they're starting from low weight, and I'm not counting those as working sets. I'm not counting those as sets at all. So say, for example, I have somebody doing legs. So whatever, we did our other workouts beforehand. I like usually starting off most people with hamstrings, because a lot of the people that come to me that may have knee injuries or knee pain, we warm up the hamstrings, the whole back of the leg, to direct the blood flow around the kneecap and the joints, so then we could start our quad movements, which are our pressing movements, our extensions. Because now we already are lubricated in those areas, so we're gonna have less pain.
Smart.
So then we'll go to a leg extension, right? And it'll be lightweight.
Yep.
Just to feel. Not only just to feel for muscle purposes, but to feel for also the brain connection, right? With the body, the mind to muscle. So now the brain knows that we're doing a leg extension now. We're bending the knees. We're doing a flexion movement, right? So now it's lightweight. So we're not just shocking them with like fucking 100 pounds on the leg extension.
Yes.
Then we could progressively ramp up to that point.
Yes.
Right? So I'm a big proponent of preparing the body neurally as well as physically.
I call it system check.
System check. That's a great.
It's like anybody else. It's like you see guys that fly planes. System check. Make sure everything's good. Make sure everything's right before you start to go off into it.
Interesting. That's
that's kind of look at it.
Great term to use.
That's let's just see. Let's just see what everything feels like. Even like if I go into like a hack squat. Hey, just do two reps.
Yeah, 5 reps.
Let me know where you're at. Yeah, exactly. Let me know where what's feeling good, what's hurting. Like if you feel like there's any grinding, do you feel like there's any cracking, or if it's just smooth. So again, I always say the system check is huge, especially when you're trying to add more weight onto machines, especially with injuries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With shoulders, system check all day long.
Yeah, shoulders, that's a funny topic, the shoulders specifically, because that's a ball and socket joint, so it has 3 ways of rotation for the shoulder. So that means that you're more prone to any injury on the shoulder than any other joint in the body, right? Because it goes in 3 directions.
Yep.
So I mean, there's a lot of sensitivity there, and there's a lot of correctional exercises that you can do to stabilize the rotator cuff and stuff like that. So with certain clients of mine that do have those injuries, we will implement those at least 1 or 2 sets in the workout. Yeah. I won't sit there have them doing these corrective exercises for 5, 6 sets because I think it's pointless.
Yeah.
But I think that just getting that motion, right, and just stabilizing and just sending that mind to muscle connection, that helps a lot.
And it'll also build confidence in the client.
Exactly.
Especially if we're going back to what you're saying with the injury, it's like it's building confidence. It's building the confidence with you and the client, and having that realistic of like, all right, where are we really at? You got to be vulnerable with me so I can really help you where you're at this point. But if I see you're bullshitting me, then I'm going to kind of call you out on your bullshit. And again, I don't have clients that are bullshitters because they see my issue.
Right.
And I think that kind of helps me be a better coach because I go, oh, you don't want to do your cardio? Yeah. No problem. I'll go do my cardio with my 1.5 legs.
Literally. And
you know what I'm saying?
Come on, dude. Like if I
don't want to hear it. Right. Exactly. I just don't want to hear it. And I'm not saying that people don't have other elements in their life, but at the same time, like, listen, if it's a physiological problem, different story. But so again, going back to what we're saying, how would I look for if I was a new client going into a gym? I would look to a client, realistically, a trainer that actually looks the part to some degree.
To some degree, fit in shape.
Yep. So that'll be your first go-to in the sense of like if you're picking out what trainer you get to go with. And secondly, it would be going through the training session and seeing if they're listening to you, seeing if they're paying attention to you. Like I said, if I see cell phone coming out, especially in your introductional session, I already know this is gonna go.
The intro session, it's like, come on.
Yeah, and 10%. And that's the other thing too. So now let's go to what would you consider a good online coach?
Okay, that's a great question. So a good online coach is going to be responsive, right, within at least a 2 to 4 hour time frame.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'm so busy. You could even ask some of my clients. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, I appreciate the check-in, but let me get back to you a little bit later. I'm busy right now. They respect that, They love that.
Yeah.
It's like they respect my time, but I also respect theirs, right? So I think communication is key with an online coach, especially online, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not seeing them in person.
Yeah.
Now, I think that I would say, I don't want to say their past record of clients, because that doesn't always really matter.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, we all start from zero, right?
Of course.
So I'm a big proponent of when people say oh, look at the past track record of all his clients or his or her clients. I get that, but this person started from 0 too before. So I think personality and hiring a coach that has a good understanding of nutrition and training but doesn't overdo. The coach cannot have ultimatums. So I'll give a perfect example. This happened last night. I have a friend of mine. She hired a coach for her bikini stuff. And I always told her, I was like, be careful who you're picking, right? Because there's a lot of misinformation out there, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
This guy is giving ultimatums on what she needs to purchase and what she needs to do. And that's where I draw the line.
Give me an example.
So he wants her to only purchase Revive products.
Oh, okay, we're done.
That's
here.
number one.
Yeah, we're done here. We're done here. Right, that's it.
So I go on this guy's Instagram.
He's sponsored by Revive.
He has a fucking code. Right.
No.
He said it has to be Revive. I saw the messages. So this is like mind blowing to me, right?
Yep.
And
use my code. So then, because you gotta remember, now they're gonna get the money.
Now he's gonna get the money. So now he's just money lurching from all different angles from his coaching business, which is not cool because he's already charging $400.
Completely agree.
Which is outrageous for regular.
So to go to your point, I think this is good for people to understand this too. Not one company is going to have the best supplements all around. I'm sorry.
I think that brand, I'm not going to just bash them or anything, but I think they're the most underdosed for the
1000%.
For the price.
I've had them in my shop.
You got rid of them.
And to a point where I was like, this is pointless to have them because they were underdosed. But the issue is when you have so many superstars
that are on that brand.
Everybody's like, oh, I want to be part of this. I want to be. And then realistically, you're paying a top dollar for a product that's really half quality.
So another thing that struck me was he said you need to take X, Y, and Z, and then you need to take out X, Y, and Z. And one of those X, Y, and Z's where she needed to take out was creatine. She's only doing 5 grams a day of creatine because he said so then I texted her. She said he didn't respond and avoided the question when she said, why do I have to take out the creatine?
Yeah, because there's no methodology.
He responded to something else. So this is what he said. I actually posted this on my Instagram story. He said that we need to take out the creatine because it holds water.
Oh, okay. We're done here.
I said fire him.
We're done here.
That's all I said. I said fire him immediately.
We're done here.
This is how you know that you have a bad coach.
Yep.
When they're giving you ultimatums and they're saying these are like non-negotiables that you have to do. No, absolutely not. Your coach should be willing to work with you and work with what's available for your budget, this, that. That's a good coach, right? Not do this or my way or the highway.
Yeah,
that's a horrible coach.
So going back to what you had said, I think it's good that we touch on a couple of things. You had said I'm so if you're asking me like what would I look for on an online coach, I don't look for main star coaches like Matt Jensen, the big name coaches, because
they're not coaching.
You're nobody. So I'm sorry, unless you're a genetic freak, you have to remember that they have thousands of people every day, every week contact them, and they get to pick through. Oh, this one looks good. This one's a genetic freak. So of course they're going to continue to make these superstars. Like when you have the roster coming at you, I usually look for a coach that does have a good portfolio. Now, when you had said before, well, what if happens when you don't have anybody that you just started? Then guess what? Your price better be lower.
Well, I started coaching for free.
Same.
And I said I had 10 people that I took on for free.
Yep.
And only 3 or 4 of them actually committed to taking the progress photos. That's what you need to get when you're a new coach. You gotta get the progress photos. You gotta get the check-ins.
When I started, actually, it's actually cool that we got this. So when I started, I looked at 2 clients. They weren't even clients of mine. They were just people I trained with in the gym. And I said, let me coach you. Because they seen me that I coached myself through a show.
Right.
And I think that also gave me my portfolio of, I'm able to take myself to this level.
Correct.
So it kind of gives that, so I looked at both of them. I go, listen, this is what I need from you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I will willing to coach you for free, make sure I support you, but just follow what I have to do so I can get you on stage so I can use this. That means you're going to get on stage for free, pretty much.
Literally.
And I'm going to be able to use your progress pictures to build my business.
For your business.
And again, I didn't charge them. And you will get a lot of people that, will not do what you tell them to do, especially when you're doing it for free. Yep. So again, I think that also plays a huge role in where you're really picking coaches from. So I'll pick a coach that is a professional, that I have seen put professionals on stage. And realistically, same ideology almost in a sense. Not saying you can't change my mind, but if I'm a big proponent in dog crap training or a progressive overload. I'm a higher protein kind of guy with more like higher protein, higher carbs, not much fats. If you're in the same realm, and not saying you can't change my mind, but if we're kind of getting coached like that, like we are very similar when we coach.
Right.
You know, you have certain things that you do differently, but in the general respect of it, you have a very similar coaching style.
Correct.
Just different little things here and there, you know?
Which makes everybody different, right?
Completely.
And I think there's nothing wrong with that because it still leads to a positive end goal.
Yes, and I think that's the biggest thing. So again, I think that going from that, looking for a client, a coach online, just have that communication. If you feel like they're not getting back to you within a timely manner, I'll be honest, I usually don't really text my clients Saturday and Sunday unless it's a competition client and we're close to show, or just we're on prep. I'll text them right back. But if it's a lifestyle client or just somebody in off season, listen, you can wait.
Yeah.
It's not that detrimental. Unless I see the text message and know it's detrimental, I'll answer it.
Right.
But that's my boundary because, again, you have to have that work-life balance.
100%.
You know?
And I need to respect that, too.
So let's do that tomorrow. Okay. Let's do that in the next week podcast. Okay. And then let's take a little bit into your prep. How you feeling?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm feeling good. I mean, we're definitely digging, right?
Yeah. It was a good 4-pound drop this week.
Yeah, which was crazy, which was really good. You know, we needed that because we've been slacking at that same weight for a while.
Yep.
Obviously, the fat was coming off, but the weight wasn't coming off like the number on the scale, right? Other than that, things are getting harder.
Yeah.
Right? Just day to day.
That's what she said.
Literally, that's what she said. Day-to-day activities are getting harder, but this is all part of the process, so... And we spoke the other day on the phone, there's been so much going on in my life. So this prep, it's like I'm so excited for this show, but I'm also excited for it to be over with and to recoup my brain, right? Because I'm at this point now where it's just like go, go, go. Yeah. And we're just on the fully fucking foot on the gas and we're not stopping. We're in a good position physique-wise.
21 days, baby.
21 days out. Yeah, so we're grooving and we're super excited to bring the final package to the show because it's going to be way better than the last one and the last one before that. So we're just getting better every day. Just head on straight, just staying focused. That's the most important thing. And learning to respect my time more. Yeah. In terms of like taking clients at my job at nighttime and just tapering that down for the last final weeks.
We refed you last night, and your weight pretty much stayed the same.
Refed last night, weight stayed the same. I think it was up like 0.2 or 0.4 or something.
Especially
like
after
that.
having a crumble cookie and 2 chicken sandwiches.
The only issue is that I haven't been going to the restroom, so we're gonna figure something out. I was talking
because he doesn't eat his veggies.
I know, I don't.
He doesn't.
But I have oatmeal. Yeah, that's fiber. Oatmeal's fiber.
This guy. I got oatmeal.
I know. So my chiropractor was like, just do 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C every hour. He was like, you'll shit your pants tonight.
Oh, is that what he said?
So I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I have vitamin C powder at home. So we're just
also, too, guys, when you get closer to the prep like this, and you're on the supplements that we're on right now, the nutrition partitioning is high.
Body's just burning.
The body's burning, but it's holding too because I'll be honest, you're rebuilding every day.
Yeah, I'm like recomping throughout this whole prep. It's been a wild ride, but we're fucking here, and we're almost there. So we just gotta keep pushing and just run out these last fucking 3 weeks and just come fucking with our 100% A game and fucking game face on and just dominate. Honestly, like
I'm ready.
Stepping on that stage and it's just I'm not a competitive person by nature, right? But I'm competitive with myself. So I know that
I was just gonna say, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know that sounds corny as fuck, but like at the end of the day, I'm about to go fucking show up and show out. Yeah. Like, that's it. Like I gotta go crush it.
One thing I've learned about you, Tommaso, is you got high integrity, my man.
Thank you.
And it's not about going against other people, it's about like you were trying to be better than yourself.
Yep.
You know? So I think that's a wrap for this episode.
It was a great episode. I hope you guys liked it and stay tuned for the next week, guys.
Boom.
Peace.
Peace.